Hi guys, Stephanie Not Only here, OG voices of Kid Goku and Gohan from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
It's Megan Hollingshead. You know me as the voice of Nurse Joy in Pokemon and Rangiku in Bleach.
I'm Marie Westbrook. I'm the voice of Hanami, Dorio, and Ikumi.
Hey, this is Karen Strassman.
I'm Tara Sands.
It's a Merc new one. You're watching Voice of the Heroes. Take it away, Flea Boy.
What's good, everybody? You already know who it is and what it is. And if you don't, it's the one and only one, Flea Boy Jetson. And you're watching Voice of the Heroes podcast. So if you're tuning in for the first time, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any interviews or upcoming discussions with your favorite heroes and villains from around the world. And today, we have a very special guest. She is 1/3 of DC's Trinity. And that's right, she's voiced Wonder Woman in Justice League Action, Rachel Kane in Call of Duty, and so much more. She's also been in 2 critically acclaimed animated shows, X-Men 97 and Love, Death, and Robots. Let's welcome Rachel Kimsey to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for coming on board. Now, like I said in the intro, you voiced 1/3 of the Trinity, DC's Trinity. Like, I'm talking about Wonder Woman, the ideal figure for women superheroes. What was the reaction when you booked that role?
I cried. I got the call, and I'm actually proud of myself because I like threw up the voice notes on my phone so I could record it happening, because I was like, I don't want to forget what a moment this is. Like, it was Wonder Woman was my character. Like I had the Wonder Woman underoos in the 80s. Like I watched Linda Carter on TV. Like, Wonder Woman was my character. And when I remember when I booked it and got the call, I remember being like overwhelmed with like the honor and the joy. And this is what happens, right? This is what happens to anybody who's like survived in a career as an actor. Like, I remember going in and coming up to the pilot, right? To record that pilot, to go in, and we recorded together, and it was this amazing experience. But I remember walking in and like, I know how the business works. I know it is possible to get replaced. I know it is possible that this might not go. And I remember walking in and like taking this moment and going, if this is it, if this session recording this pilot is all I ever get, I still got to be Wonder Woman today. And then I didn't get replaced, and the show did go, and we got to do our 52 episodes. But that moment of like choosing to just own that joy and that success and that moment where I lived in that place that I had dreamed of my whole life, I think made the experience that much better all along, because every single moment felt like this incredible joy. And like the people I got to work with and the writers that we worked with and the creators all along, it was this spectacular experience that all started with, if all I ever get is this moment today, if nothing ever happens from here, this was worth it. This was enough. And that has continued to be true. And it was the coolest experience of my career.
My God, I am overjoyed for you, because this ain't no role that comes easy. It's not a character that many will get to voice. Even though we had different iterations of it, voicing Wonder Woman, like you said, is a huge mantle. And she's a representation of so many little girls out there that, she either gave joy or hope or, guided them through dark times. How did you find your I can't even talk right now, chat. Y'all got to excuse me. My throat is killing me. But how did you find your version of her voice and personality?
So here's the interesting thing about that audition. Like, when that audition came in, I actually had 3 auditions for the show. I had an audition for Wonder Woman. I had an audition for 2 other villains, right? And I kind of panicked. I was like, I can't do Wonder Woman. Like, it was too big. It was like too much. So I did the other 2, and like one of them was pretty good, and the other one I was like, Yeah, that was good. That one was really good, that villain I did. Um, and then I like left Wonder Woman to last because I remember having this feeling. I was like, I don't know how to rise to this occasion. And then here's the other funny thing, right? Like Wonder Woman is like an anchor character for me. She's been important to me my entire life. But I had this moment of panic where I was like, I don't know what she sounds like. Like some characters have a sound that you identify with them. And I suddenly had this feeling, I was like, I know what she means to me, but I don't know what she sounds like. And so I had this two-part process where I remember kind of like taking a moment and breathing and going, okay, I guess she sounds like me when I feel like Wonder Woman. That's all I can do. I can't like go back and listen to somebody else's choice and try to copy that choice. That's not going to work because then I won't live in it. But here's another funny thing, right? So the episode they sent, it didn't end up being the pilot that aired. The episode that they sent ended up coming later in the season as it went. But reading through it, there was this one line that just, it was kind of like the rhythm of the line was just a little weird. Like it just was a little funky. And I was like, I got to make this line feel real, grounded, honest. Like this one, if I can make this line make sense, I'll have my Wonder Woman. And the line, I'll never forget it. The line was, we've got 1 hour to bag this buffoon. And I was like, what is that? Right? But when I found it, I was like, okay, that's my hook, right? One of the things we talk about a lot in animation is a character having a hook, both for the actor and for the audience. Like, you know what it's in. And I was like, all right, I found my hook. I've got 1 hour to bag this buffoon. And I sent it in and I felt good about it. And that kind of like became my anchor for all the other choices that I made in the audition. And we got in there and they were like, we loved it from the first moment we heard it. They played my 2 samples that I sent. They were like, this is what we loved about it. And the very first time we recorded it, they were like, oh, we actually don't like that sound though. Can you do something different? So the anchor that got me grounded in the character and that got me the job, they were like, actually, we want to change that sound because it kind of had this like, in my ear, it's like that old timey like dame kind of sound. And we actually ended up not using that for the show. But it was such an anchor to me for the acting and for the choices. And it was so specific that they were like, yeah, there's specifics in there, and they picked it. And then we immediately threw it away. Take 2 on the show, we threw it away and we went a completely different direction for the entire rest of the show. But making the choice to find a hook and an anchor that made sense to me and that made me feel grounded in the material that I saw was what got us all on the same page to go, all right, so now let's create something new together. And that line stayed in the show, but it wasn't the way that I auditioned it. And it was wild. It was like the coolest experience. I was like, wait, you picked me for that, but you don't want that anymore. You want something different? Like, all right, okay. And the whole experience of the show for me and working with Warner Brothers and working with that team really was like that, where we just kept creating stuff together. The writers felt they were having the most fun writing on Justice League Action, and look at where everybody went. Like, look at those creators and where like what Tim Sheridan's been writing and what Jeremy's been writing and I hate when my brain blanks. Like, there's the incredible writers there, and of course, Deanie was writing. Like, all these people, and everybody kind of went, "What if we give ourselves space to make this its own thing?" And so all of us got just a little freedom to make it our own thing too, where we had the legacy behind us to inform what we were doing, but not the weight of trying to serve someone else's process. We all kind of gave each other the freedom to do it our way together so that we were creating something new with each other. And it was one of the most creative experiences. Everybody just had the best time. And I'm still connected to so many people because we just loved working together.
And y'all created something magical. One thing I will always say about DC, their animation is a spectacle. It's amazing. DC is running a race, and Marvel just cannot catch up when it comes to animation. Live action is a different story, but now with James Gunn behind the wheel, that race might become a lot closer. But as far as animation goes, DC is light years away. Now, when it comes to that, right? Did voicing Diana ever change the way you viewed your strength physically, emotionally, or otherwise? Like after becoming her, like did you like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna lock in and embody this character.
I think it was actually the opposite. I think the reason that I locked into that character was because of those qualities I'd always valued. Now, that's not always the case with every character. There are a lot of characters and properties that I learn about when I get involved with them, but because this one was always meaningful to me, I think some of those things informed me my whole life. Like, some people find this controversial, but one of the things that I always loved about Wonder Woman was just her physical strength. It was the first time I remember seeing a woman who was just stronger than everyone around her, and it didn't impact her femininity. It didn't impact her aggression. It didn't impact the way that she moved through the world as if she was trying to dominate things. She just was physically strong and capable at all the things that she wanted to do. And I mean, I was a weightlifting coach, and I did stunt work, and I worked in gyms, and I was a trainer, and all of that honestly began with knowing that one of my values was in physically capable women and watching women be powerful and how important that is and can be in their lives. And so I think a lot of that embodiment actually came first. One of the nicest things any human has ever said to me is one day Mark Hamill saw me walk into the room and he was like, "You could play Wonder Woman on camera." And I was like, I can die now and go home. I'm done. Like, I was like, I just got the endorsement of Mark Hamill to play Wonder Woman on camera. Like, huh.
Yeah, I was asking that because
I was like, okay.
I was looking at some of your past work, right? And man, it looked like you was even today, like you're physically fit. So I was wondering if, maybe Wonder Woman might have inspired that. But like you said, you've been inspired since a little girl, so you was made for that role almost. So man, that's amazing. What was the most challenging scene or line to record from Wonder Woman, if there was any?
One of the more challenging episodes I ever had to do was just because imposter syndrome is a biatch. There's an episode with, I wish I could remember the name of the episode right now, with Wonder Woman and Green Lantern. Oh my gosh, sorry, Green Arrow. Sorry, Chris. And it was basically like me and Christy Metopoulos for the whole episode. And he's so funny. And he's so effortlessly funny. And my role in that episode was to be the straight man, to make his funny funnier by landing my straight man perfectly every time. And we had such a great time, and he's such a generous actor that it all came together. But I think that it was one of the ones that stood out to me as the one where I was like, was I good enough? I don't know if I was good enough. Did I show up for you? Was I ready? Like it was the one that I went home and second guess. It was the only one that I can remember going home and second guessing myself about. I was like, should I have prepared more? Was I funny enough? Maybe I wasn't ready. And it was just that, like, wanting to rise to the occasion of the talent around me, of like wanting to be ready enough at all times. So it's kind of funny that it was comedy that made me go, am I okay? Am I good enough?
Let me ask you something, right? Since you said that, right? Because a lot of actors or actresses, they really critique themselves very hardly sometimes. Very hard. They might see a product or a commercial or a series that they're in. Some don't. Some, go in the booth, do their work. They might never even see the show a day in their life. But some might go back. Do you critique yourself a little too harsh, or how do you handle the mental health part of that? Like if you see like negative comments, because maybe before we didn't have the internet. Now we have the internet, and some voice actors they might get it online. Like, hey man, I didn't like your performance. You're not my such and such. Like you're not my Superman. Like David Cornsweet. A lot of people say he did good. Oh, you're not Henry Cavill. What? How do you deal with that side of things?
So for me, it has improved exponentially over the course of my career, because you kind of get practice over time. And I got really lucky that at the beginning of my career, the internet was still a baby. And so there wasn't as much of it to contend with that's right in your face, right? Um, and I want to differentiate two things. There's the self-judgment, and then there's the taking in too much of what other people say about you, right? I have some work at the beginning of my career that I'm just like, and I try to give myself grace because I was a baby actor and I was still learning, and like everybody has to learn their job. And it's one of those, like, you learn on the job, and thank goodness people gave me a chance when I still had a lot to learn. And some of those I'm just like, I'm glad the budgets were small and they're on VHS, you know? But I try to give myself space to say, but if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have gotten to where I was. And now it's very rare that I go back to evaluate anything. Usually now, if I go back to listen or watch anything, it's to remember the joy that I had in creating it. And every once in a while, I'm like, oh, they picked that choice instead of this other one I liked more. But I also understand my job better. Like my job is to serve the product and to serve the project rather. So it's to honor the director and to honor the writers. And like, I get to bring myself to the table, but I have a much better self-concept now of like, if they picked that take, that's because they decided that's what served their story best. And so it's not about me, it's about all of us. And mostly when I go back and watch stuff now, it's to enjoy all of the other people that I worked with so much because I love the people I work with. The judgment of other people, a friend of mine was Miss America many years ago, and she was like in the very early days of the internet, and she was the first one to look me deep in the eyes and say, never look at the comments. And so from like 2001, I was like, never look in the comments, because you can't please everybody. You can't. Like here's an example. I was on The Young and the Restless, which was such an incredibly cool learning experience. It was such a special opportunity to like just grow my skills so fast in such a unique place. I'd been on that show for 3 days when I got my first packet of fan mail, because people were fans of the show. And that first packet of fan mail had nothing to do with the work that I was doing. It had everything to do with what they loved about the show and people basically welcoming me to the show. Later, I found out that also in that same week on the internet, on forums that I didn't know about, thank goodness, there were people calling me all kinds of terrible names and commenting on my face and commenting on my body and commenting on how I would never be as good as that other girl who played the role before me. And how lucky was I that what I got was the paper mail of people who were willing to extend their kindness and generosity. And it was just fortunate that I did not know about those internet forums, so that when I was still figuring out what I was doing, that I didn't know what people were saying about me. And now, as an older woman, I look back and I'm like, girl, if you had a problem with my body, that is a you problem, not a me problem. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure it wouldn't have felt that way at the time. And so developing the self-concept that knows that other people's critiques of you are about them and not about you takes time, it takes practice, it takes confidence. But just don't look at the comments, man. Just don't ask what people think of the things that you don't want to know about.
I love that advice though that you gave just now. It also helps for me myself, because I'm new in the podcasting world. I've been blessed though to, interview over 150 voice actors within this year. It's crazy. It's unbelievable because at the time I didn't think I was able to accomplish such a feat because I come from the gaming world. This is something completely different. I didn't go to school for journalism. So when I first started podcasting, I used to recycle a lot of the same questions. Like I'll do an interview here and then just switch out the name. And people kept catching on like, hey man, like it's like we seen this interview, like get your stuff. And at first it like brought me down, but then I understood what people were saying. And I understood like, okay, I need to do better, but maybe it shouldn't be coming from somebody being so reckless or talking so crazy. But man, that was good advice. I love that right there. Now, you also played many other characters in the DC animated universe, not just Wonder Woman. One of them, my personal favorite, even though it may have been a small role, but the dialogue she had with Constantine, Angela, the Queen of Angels, if you know, you know. Personally, me, I feel like it's one of the best DC animated films out there. Constantine, City of Demons, gory. Hey, man, listen, if you're a kid and you're watching it, I don't think you should watch City of Demons.
It's not a kid's show.
Yeah, mind you, for me, it's so good because I love Constantine. I love everything about that character, and you killed that role as Angela. How did that even come about?
So the really special part about that one was I was in the parking lot talking to our voice director from JLA and one of our writers and producers, Wes and Butch, who I will always love. And we were just talking because we like each other, right? Like that's the beautiful thing about this business is like stick around long enough and you'll realize how wonderful people are and those relationships are meaningful. And we were just chatting about normal human things and Butch gets this look on his face and he goes, well, did you talk to Rachel about that one? And Wes goes, oh yeah. And so the next day I got a message about Constantine. And I was so honored that Angela couldn't be less Wonder Woman, right? And they know me from this context. And Justice League Action is like a middle grade age cartoon. It's not for tiny kids. It's not for big kids. Like it's a middle age grade cartoon, and it was full of comedy and joy. For them to take a moment and see me differently because they saw me as a person and as a performer, and they go, hold on, this might be a great fit, was such an honor because it's not always easy to recast people in your head, right? But it literally, as far as I'm aware, came from that parking lot conversation where they went, hold on, this could be great. And so then we went through the formal channels. But like, I remember that moment where he just looked at me, he was like, wait, Wes, did you think about this? And it's also why one of the things that I say to new actors is it takes a while to get your career started, but the most important thing you can do is stick around because the relationships that you build with the people in the business are the things that keep your career going. And it's not favoritism, it's relationships and relationality and people coming to know you so they can see you in more ways than just the 30 seconds of the audition that you sent. And so that's how that one came. The thing that's fun about Constantine is by the time I came in to record the ADR on it, we did the first round of recording, came to do the ADR, I was very heavily pregnant with my first child. So I'm in the booth recording the Foley and the hot and heavy bathroom scenes between Angela and Constantine, and the whole room is just like blushing. And it was so fun because like we all had like that relationship where we all knew each other. That it's like, yeah, you know what? Let's go, let's do it. But it remains like a totally delightful memory for me because we were all just like, well, this is not what anyone expected. But I'm like 8 months and like so pregnant, and we're getting all this stuff in. I was like, well, this is how demon babies get made, guys. So,
which I believe had to be, really probably physical work with the mocap stuff. You played Rachel Kane, voiced her, and was the face. Like that's one thing I love about Call of Duty too. Whenever you get a Call of Duty role, 9 times out of 10, you're not only just the face, but not only just the voice, but you are the face. So now you're in probably one of the best Black Ops games of all time, Black Ops 3, right? What was it like seeing yourself as a digital soldier in such a massive franchise?
That was such an exciting process for me because I'm a big science geek on top of everything else. I was raised in a family where, I've got active duty brothers, brothers-in-law, cousins, aunts. My grandfather was a general in the Air Force, my family is in the military way back. And so the opportunity to genuinely honor, military personnel in a property like that was meaningful to me. But it's also interesting because apparently that's part of, how I got the job is that I was not unfamiliar with the weight of those weapons. I was not unfamiliar with how to move through space. And so the audition process was actually really intense. We were on the volume, and there were, in motion capture, there's never sets. There's just stuff that you move around. And so it was, moving, doing tactical movement around, objects on the set while also delivering lines. And it's very like, can you pull this full thing off? And like, I remember I was just sweating by the end of the audition. And it was a really cool experience. And then getting to do the job was so exciting because there were so many incredibly skilled actors who are a part of it. And like the sets that they built out, just like any other game, we're kind of learning about the world as it goes. But that was the first time that I'd ever gotten to sit down with the writer of the game who was like, here is the script that's 2.5 inches thick.
Ooh.
Like, this is this massive script. Like, this is the whole thing. Here's the arc. Here's where we're going to go. And everybody was excited as I was that I got to have my own name. Like, it felt like kismet. And getting to sit inside the glass bubble where they, check the luminosity of your skin, and getting to see my body move in skeletal form across the volume. Like, the science part of my brain was just exploding. Here's a fun fact. One of our audio engineers on that game was Judy Lee, who is now like prime voice actress. Like, it was the coolest thing. Like, watching her rise has been so exciting because I was like, I did not know you had those skills at that time. And it was thrilling. It was such a cool and complex script, and like really pouring our emotions into something that went in so many different directions was really fun. And it was a process. I think we recorded on the volume for almost 2 years back and forth. And it was a total thrill. And for me to go from, I'd been doing voice of soldier in Call of Duty for a while, but to finally be like a named and faced character was a whole new level.
Kane's story, right? It gets really intense. Did any scenes hit you emotionally or stick with you on a personal level?
I remember how painful it was when the player died. Like Ben and I we were so in it. And I remember like the crew being kind of caught off guard. And I was surprised by that. I was like, isn't that what this scene was supposed to be? And maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But the two of us were so connected by that point that it was harder when is this a spoiler this many years later? It was harder
if it is
when he died than when I did. The like weird broken part of me is like when I got to die, I was like, yeah, this is so fun. And it was like so grotesque that it was just like a blast to get to do. But when he went, like that morning in person, because it was so like eye to eye, it was painful in the moment. And he's also such a pro that like then we were able to reset and do it again. But that was a really special experience, that whole game. I'm jealous that I didn't get to do any scene work with Chris Maloney. Like his character was so intense. That would have been a really cool experience just to be there for that work. But I just got to enjoy it with everybody else at home.
Hey, at least you're part of one of the most iconic Call of Duties of all time, the Black Ops series. Like that's it. It's like that and probably Modern Warfare. Those are the two that everybody like. Those are the pioneers of first person shooting. So, man, congratulations on those
Thank
roles. You have some really iconic roles in your library. Now, we're gonna switch gears now. We're gonna get to the fun side of the interview. But before we do, it's giveaway time. This is basically how we do it. Rachel is gonna give us a recommendation. You have to go check out that recommendation. Come back, leave a comment about it, and please don't leave no stupid comment like, "Oh, it was good." You're gonna get overlooked. Make sure you give something in depth about whatever she recommends, whatever the recommendation is, excuse me, and you'll get a chance to either win a PlayStation 5 or a Nintendo Switch 2, signed autographed 8x10s of David Forsyth, characters, so the bad guy from Guilty Gear, or Joshua Seth's Thai Digimon. Now, like I said, the rules are pretty simple. Rachel, what you got for us?
Okay, so I'm just going to give you my current obsession. There is an artist, a musician called Buffalo Nichols, Nichols, and I cannot not listen to him every day. Now, I'm slow on the uptake because the album that I'm obsessed with came out. I had to double check. It came out in 2021. It's called Lost and Lonely. And but he's got some new stuff out that just came out in these last few weeks that it hits real hard. It is in the family of like old school Southern blues and bluegrass, and it is meaningful, it is emotional, it is incredibly well written, the lyrics are powerful, the music is unparalleled. Like, spend some time on his social media and just watch him play. Watch him play the banjo and the guitar. Your life will be better because you spent time with this man's music. Go check out Buffalo Nichols. Your life will improve. It's incredible.
I'm definitely going to check it out because I was just talking to somebody yesterday, right? And it's funny that you brought up music and they was like, "Hey, maybe you need, because I've been trying to look for a way to have positive energy, like to always just keep my energy positive." It was like, "Hey, why don't you change the music you listen to? Listen to something more positive instead of, the stuff that you listen to now." And I was like, "You think that work?" It was like, "Trust me, it'll be a different mood. It'll be a different vibe. It might even bring out some creative side of you that you didn't know existed." So I'm definitely going to check that out. Heroes, that's the recommendation. Make sure you lock in. Drop some lyrics. Drop how you feel about it. Drop how you feel about the IG page. All links will be in the description. Matter of fact, no, we're not going to do that. This is a giveaway. If you really want it, you're going to go find it. So
We'll get it.
Lock in. All right, now, before we get to our universal questions, right, that I ask all our guests, we got a fun part of the segment called Dub This Sentence. And basically how it goes, we give you a sentence to dub. You can use any voice you want. And the sentence is, "I didn't eat the last slice of pizza. Okay, maybe I did."
And I get to do whatever I want?
Whatever you want.
I didn't eat the last slice of pizza. Oh, okay. Maybe I did.
I live for that. When y'all get into character and y'all able to switch out like that, man. Oh, I love that, to be honest with you. Now, we get into the universal questions right before we get you up out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. Heroes, if you still here, thank y'all so much. Don't forget to get that membership. We got exclusive interviews. We have giveaways from Bandai Namco, Ubisoft, and G Fuel. The Gear 5 Luffy is coming out. So make sure you use the promo code Jetson to get your hands on that. Get a great percentage off. But let's get to it. Now, the first question is, what is your dream collaboration? If you can collab with anyone right now, say you get the lead role, you could pick your ADR and you could pick your co-star.
Oh my gosh.
Who are they gonna be?
Who's my dream my dream collaboration? Here's the hard part. Once you've had your like bucket list job, it's hard to go from there.
Yeah, it's hard to top Wonder Woman, man. It's really hard to top that.
But I will say this, like we are a house divided in my house because I'm DC and my husband is Marvel.
That's right. For those who don't know, let them know who your husband is.
My husband is Matthew Watterson. He plays Magneto in X-Men 97. So we've got some like really cool Magneto gear around here. So growing up, Wonder Woman was like my anchor character. And like I tell other people, I'm like, you don't know how lucky geeks have it now because you've got so much stuff. The next character that I connected to at all was Rogue. So for me, getting to be a part of the world of the X-Men is like, that's the next dream, right? Like that's the next thing. I don't know what happens when you're DC and Marvel. I love them both. My comic book shelf has it all. But for me, that
you
would
into
be...
comics?
Yes.
Let's go. Hey, Matthew, you got you one. You got you one, Matt. You got you a special one. Let's go.
When stuff is good, it's good. You know what I mean? Like my first comic that I remember ever reading was The Dark Knight Returns. Like it was hardcore. And my copy was actually my older brother's copy. It was like leather bound. It was like this like special edition. And I read that and read that and read that. When I was living in New York in the early 2000s, they kept talking about making Batman Year One. I was like, I gotta track down and find Darren Aronofsky because that's when Robin was a girl and I was born to be Robin. Like it didn't ever happen, but I did get to be in Spider-Man too, so it worked out. I got to stunt double Mary Jane, so that was all right. For me, like some of those heroes, like that's the real magic. Like that's the big joy. And if I got to go play in that world, that'd be pretty thrilling.
All right, who would be your ADR for that show?
Oh my gosh, my ADR?
Yeah, you got that's the question. Your dream collab. So, all right, your dream role. We'll just say a Marvel or DC project, right? Who would be the ADR of that project? Who would you want as a?
I mean, but sorry, AD, like the director?
Yeah, the director.
Okay. I love working with Meredith. I think that she is such a powerful director and she brings everybody to the fore. And I happen to know that she's working in the Marvel world. So that would be my dream. Like I love working with smart, powerful, talented women who just want you to bring the best. That's what I want. Then
who would be a co-star? You got the lead role. Who would be a co-star?
All right, so this is gonna get sloppy. My poor husband. I have yet to get to work with AJ Locasio, and it makes me jealous because my husband and AJ are like this, and they've worked on like every project together for like 6 years. I'm like, where am I? How come I don't get to be there? Like I want to get a little bit of that. Also, if I could just sit there and learn how he does Gizmo, because I am totally lost for doing gibberish characters and people who can do that, like him and D. Bradley Baker that can do like the gibberish voice characters. I'm like, how do I be more like you? Because I do not have that skill and I love it.
Okay, there you go. The dream collab. All right, now we got two more questions for you
All right.
before you get up out of here. The next one is, who are your top 5 fictional characters of all time? You can go comic books, animes, mangas, television series, movie, wherever. Who's your top 5?
All right. So if I have to go, oh gosh, of all time, I'm a book reader,
sorry, I'm
man. Like
sorry.
I can't do 5. So I'm going to give you the first 5 that come to mind. All right. So growing up, Wonder Woman, absolutely anchor character for all time. For sure, for sure. I already said Rogue because like that was like Wonder Woman is the like power character, Rogue is the like damaged version, right? But I am also an Anne of Green Gables girly. That girl who showed up and was like, I don't have to be anything you say that I have to be. I get to be myself. That means something. That means something. I'm going to take that girl to the bank forever. Other key characters, like, there was, all right, I'm going to give you my Batman theory. Okay. Again, like Dark Knight Returns was my first comic book. The reason I've always loved Batman is because Bruce Wayne is the cover character, and the person who actually lives their truth in the darkness of their soul, but finds the lightness and the softness in order to preserve their ability to navigate through the world, I think is such a powerful metaphor for your story, and your humanity doesn't have to change, but your ability to move through the world depends on your ability to get people to work with you and trust you. And I have always maintained that the best Batman is actually the best Bruce Wayne, because everybody knows that like the billionaire up on the hill is the guy with all the money, unless you're so good at that cover character that everyone's like, it can't be him though. So that one's another anchor. And then, oh my gosh, I'm like thinking of my bookshelves just buried in characters. You're making me choose 5. That's just rude. It's just rude.
Hey, you know what's crazy is that every time I ask somebody this question, I tell all my guests, mine's changed so much because
No,
I'm a
it's
huge
gonna.
Ninja Turtles, Power Ranger fan, and all that stuff. But then I
Yes.
think about Marvel and DC and anime, and it just gets too wild for me. And then I think about stuff like Harry Potter or Percy Jackson, and it just goes everywhere at that point.
Right? Yeah, I'm gonna walk away from this and be like, oh, I didn't mention this one, I didn't mention this one. Now what am I gonna do?
Hey, Matthew might be like, you didn't mention Magneto.
Like I have my Magneto as right sticker on my water bottle. I represent every day.
So who's your last one? You got one.
Okay,
more.
so my fifth one, I got caught. My fifth character, let's see, a fifth anchor character for who I am and how I am. I am going to say Wesley from The Princess Bride.
Interesting
Wesley was a survivor. Wesley put his head down and went to work and fell in love and didn't let his feelings get in the way. He survived. He persevered. He became the Dread Pirate Roberts. He survived being tortured to come back and very quietly and with a great deal of humor and a very fabulous head of hair come back and bring the whole story back together. So I'm gonna say Wesley from The Princess Bride.
Hey, grade 5. Now this one gets a little more difficult because we got to snatch one out and we got to add the goats. Now, this next one, what is your Mount Rushmore of voice actors? It could be, your personal preferences. It could be people who inspired you. It can be your peers. It could be the ones that paved the way. Who are the goats of the goats on your Mount Rushmore?
The person that I cried when I got to work with them was Cloris Leachman, because no woman in entertainment would get to be who she was without the groundwork that she laid. And when I tried to express my gratitude to her, she just looked at me and said, shut up, let's go to work, because she's also the best. But like just packed full of love. So she's up there because none of us would get to do what we do without her. because I've been thinking about it the last few days with the new King of the Hill announcement, Pamela Adlon, to me, God, what a powerhouse. And like just flies under the radar for being ridiculously talented, incredibly funny, an amazing writer. Her voice skills are off the charts with that distinctive sound that she has, but she still can do so much with it. Like I'm not sure that she couldn't make anything funny. I think that no, you could put any dialogue in front of her in the whole world and she could make it sing. People that I got to work with that I learned so much from, watching Mark Hamill do the Joker, I was blown away. That I got to be in the same room watching it do it. And I'm watching it and I remember having this moment where I was like, oh, I wish I had my phone to record him doing this. Like, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And at that moment, the take ends and he sits back and he goes, I'm so glad nobody's watching me do this. I look like a crazy person. And I was like, right? That's the thing. Like the unrestrained, unself-conscious giving over is why the magic happens. Like that moment alone, I learned so much in that moment. So for me, getting to see two sides of an actor that I feel like I grew up with my whole life and realizing that it's in the unself-conscious side that we become our greatest selves. I have to put D. Bradley Baker out there because he has a skill that I don't understand it, and I wish I had it, and I wish I had those tools, man. They're so
yeah, his
so
range
good.
is crazy. Both of their ranges is crazy because I actually just made a video yesterday talking about the Batman animated series and how much of a masterpiece it was and how it needs to be appreciated more because everybody's favorite character Harley Quinn was made for that show. She
Right?
doesn't come from the comic book. She comes from that show. And then the voice that the actress gave off, I think she passed away. Rest in peace to her. Man, and the performances in that show was just so good. You couldn't tell me that was Mark Hamill playing the Joker. When I found out, I was like, my uncle told me, he was like, you know that Luke Skywalker? I said, no, it's not. He's like, yeah, that's Luke Skywalker because he know I was a Luke fan.
But here's the best part of that. And this is where I want to like throw down again back to my advice. Like for actors, you need to stick around, right? Like his Joker comes from him playing Amadeus on stage. Like he talks about like to keep it interesting for him when he was doing Amadeus, he just kept, because Mozart is supposed to have all these like this crazy laugh, right? So he just kept coming up with wilder and wilder laughs to amuse himself and to keep it fresh. Like, and so when the opportunity came and he begged for the audition of the Joker, he was like, you got to let me audition. And they were like, and then he crushed it so much because his entire life had actually been leading up to that moment. And that's the thing we see over and over and over again, right? Like that it's not just that moment. It's that our whole lives led up to that moment. Like me playing Rachel Kane was because I did stunt work and because of my family background and because of the damage I'd done to my voice and the day job that I had as a CrossFit coach. And so it was sitting in that place, like, right, it's never just acting. It's your whole life that you bring to the table. And to me, there's such a power in remembering that, even in the people that are like your idols, right? So watching somebody that was an idol of mine for something completely different learn to throw away their self-consciousness because they felt unwatched for the first time in 40 years, right? Because they're in a booth instead of on a set. And knowing that is what freed them up in that moment, like that learning experience is incredible. Like D. Bradley Baker talks about how when he first got to LA, he drove around LA listening to CDs of animal noises and trying to recreate those. And that's how he has that incredible tool, because he did the work. His whole life led up to that moment, right? It wasn't just like, oh, I happen to be able to make a cricket sound. Right? It was your whole life leads up to that moment, and it becomes the thing that you bring to the table. And so for that, I'm going to say one of my other Mount Rushmores, because you can't ever get everybody in, is Grey Delisle. And that one's, God, and now I was like, oh, and Jen, and I'm just, I was like all these, but I'm going to say Grey, because like her work goes back to when she was a teenager. Right? Like she was making people laugh, doing impressions and like trying to craft something. And then and then like went forward and did something with that. Like my dear friend Mindy, you know, worked with her on Scooby-Doo for like 25 years, something like that. And like Mindy was a child actress who has gone on to have a whole career, and the respect that she puts on Gray's name when she talks about that, I was like, you literally know everybody because you grew up in this world. And then the breadth of the voices that she could do. And have you heard her sing? Like, oh my God, there's another recommendation. Go check out her. She's touring a new album right now with her country music. Like, it's the people that pour their whole life into their art, that it's not just, I want to make this one thing, or I want to shine in this one place. Her whole life is art, and I respect it so much because it's not just doing silly voices, right? It's the breadth of all of the work. It's crafting music that takes advantage of those sounds. It's building that out. And it's not right for Mount Rushmore to have too many dudes than women.
Hey, I respect it, man. This is Ladies Month anyway, so the ladies have officially taken over the channel. If you've been watching, man, thank y'all so much for supporting. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share, man. We're a brand new podcast, so please share the content. Put it out there. Let people see that we're telling stories from the voices behind the heroes, man. Thank y'all also so much for the continuous support that y'all been giving me. Rachel, thank you so much for coming on the show. You got a Streamily?
I do. I haven't been on it recently, but I'd love to come back.
Hey, we need a Streamily from you, man. Go support. I know all links will be in the description below. Let people know where to follow you at for any updates, cons, role announcements, anything like that.
So I try to be real easy to find. My website is rachelkimsey.com. I'm Rachel Kimsey at technically I'm on Facebook still, at Instagram and Threads. I finally started up on TikTok. I'm bad at it, but I'm figuring it out. Come help me learn how to do it better.
Hey, you sound like me right now. Just got the TikTok. I just got the Instagram, so I'm still trying to navigate that.
You know, we're all just trying to figure out how to put ourselves out there in the world. But I'm excited. I got my character in Genshin Impact got a face this week, so there may be some new con work coming up soon. And I will put all of that out there in those places if you want to come find me. In the meantime, there will be a lot of content about chickens, so be prepared.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Heroes, villains. Like I said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And like always, don't forget to love yourself, pass that love on, and love others. And if nobody told you so, just know your boy love you. Voice of the Heroes signing out. And please forgive my voice, man. It's been shot. So if you've seen the last 2-3 interviews and you hear me sounding like that, I'm so sorry. Bear with me, man. But we going to grind it out. I'll see y'all next time.
Sing it with me.